Guys, Greg Jackson here, continuing our strategical overview of combat sports and self-defense too. We're going to talk about position to advantage today, guys. And that sounds like, oh, I know what that is. Position before submission, position to advantage. In this case, it's very, very contextualized. Position to advantage, we're referring to the sporting end of it, right, which is MMA and jiu-jitsu in all of its beautiful forms. This position to advantage is very important in the idea of min-maxing. In other words, getting the maximum potential you can out of every position for points, for finishing opportunities, for whatever it is. It's important that you understand that the submission holds themselves are positions. What can happen in your training is you train to get to a submission hold. The guy's very good at getting out of that submission hold, and you kind of chase it around like a dog chasing after a piece of meat. But you can never get it. Like they're almost there, but the guy counters and you're back in a scramble. And the reason that happens is because you treated the armbar like an armbar. And there are times, guys, that an armbar is just an armbar. Especially when you're dealing with lack of weight classes. So open divisions, this can be a little bit differently. Or if you're in self-defense and you're fighting a big old guy, it can be a little bit different. That's where the guard really comes into its own. That's where the beauty of the guard is shown, is when these guys are massive over you and you're throwing up submission holds. You're not going to be able to sweep them, as we talked about in the other video on this very subject. So guys, go check that video out. Also guys, real quick, go get on deck. Before we go any further, go look at the Gemini Twin video. Before you finish this one out, go over there real quick. Gemini Twin video, pow, go, and you're back. So anyway, we're going to do the position to advantage should be a Gemini Twin. And what that means is, and we're going to go through these moves, you're going to be able to get that video in arm bars, omoplatas, wherever it is where we're prioritizing the position. We're going to use those positions, those submission holds, as sweeps. We're still going to hunt the submission hold, but we're going to try to get on top. That way, if the guy counters, if they roll out of the lock or whatever it may be, I can immediately get more points, or if it's MMA, I can begin ground and pounding, whatever it is, I want to end up on top if I can in that scramble situation. Because if you're dealing with a guy that's a way better wrestler than you, well, they're probably going to take you down. We'll talk about that. But if you can do one of these positions where it looks like a submission hold and you get on top, now you had inferior takedowns, but now you're on top to do all your top game stuff. So keep that in mind, guys. Position to advantage means that a submission hold is not just a submission hold. A submission hold is a structure which you can use to either try to tap them out or get on top of them. And what we're going to do is a beautiful combination of both of those things as you look at those videos. But don't get into that emotional value of once you lock on a submission hold, being like, that's it. Man, if they tap out from it right away, hey, that's an easy day. But as you go against better and better competitors, that is going to get harder and harder to do. People are just training, putting in arm bars, getting out, putting in ankle locks, getting out, reversing, doing all this stuff. So you want to stay ahead of that, right? You want to maximize your opportunities so that if you get a submission hold, before you finish that submission hold, you should try to be on top in case you can't get it. And you can, even at the highest level, I mean, some of my dear friends at the highest level making out of these, like, I think it's done. I'm like, oh no, that arm bar is deep. And you see them just work out of it. And the guy ends up losing the match. The guy that went for the arm bar that almost had it ends up losing the match because then they pass, they get their points, etc., etc. We want to avoid that if we can. And that's the position to advantage. That's a Gemini Twin. So check out the Gemini Twin video, guys. Check out the overview strategical video. But most importantly, let's check out some of these technique videos that show you exactly what I'm talking about here.